Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino, CEO of K9 for Veterans. I'm here tonight. My co-host is Kevin Hendricks, and we're also here with a very special guest, Gary Rabine. Did you get that right?
Got it. Rabine. Long A, long I.
Long I. Gary is running for governor of our state, and I had a chance to have a conversation with Gary earlier about a lot of things that are affecting our veterans, among other things. Gary, why don't you start out by telling us, give us a little background on yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a business builder. For the first 20 years of my career is in one business, right? Like many small businesses, building one business, 20 years, and eventually towards the end of that 20 years, I learned how to build businesses and build leaders. And over the last 20 years, we've been blessed to start about 30 companies, like one every 8 months, right? And it's just a matter of being able to learn how to build leaders instead of just working in a business, right?
Right.
Trusting other people to do things you think you could do only on your own.
Right.
Eventually, boy, it gets to be pretty nice when you can continue to build confidence and leadership that can carry on.
Right. You were talking during the earlier conversation that you feel that hiring a veteran is a good place to start. You said you love hiring veterans for your companies.
So, we hire whoever knocks on the door in the past, right? Over let's say the first, again, I'll go back the first 20 years. Whoever could put a shovel in their hand and a pick in their hand and work it pretty well, boy, we want them on our team, right? Eventually, as we got to be a little more successful, we could cherry pick some of the best people out there that want to come to work in our company because we became one of the best. Over the last 15 years, I'll say, we've discovered hiring of vets to be one of the best resources we could find. So the more vets we could hire, the more vets they know, the more opportunity we have to find more vets. And we have one company specifically. Our CEO has really fallen in love with really bringing vets into his boot camps to train. It's called Pipeview America. It's a company that we put robots underground and we televise the condition of pipe, looking for gas line leaks. So it saves lives. This company saves lives. It's pretty cool. But vets have been his best teammates because he knows when he finds vets, they understand structure of a business or of any leadership role, right? They understand leadership and chain of command. They understand how to take risk and what that means, right? When you take risk and responsibility, there's never ever a problem with responsibility. Once you give them a task, they take all responsibility for their team as well as themselves, and that's leadership, right? So Nick and I have found that in that company, Pipeview America, we've done amazing stuff with vets as leaders in that business as we continue to grow it. It's grown about 10 times the size in the last 5-6 years.
Wow.
Our other companies now have taken a page out of that, and they all want to know more. So all our other leaders are doing the same thing. Yeah, it's a proven commodity.
It's proven.
So is that something? If you do get elected governor of the state, like, is that something you'd be able to bring across other businesses, stuff like that? Because unfortunately, right now, veterans are unemployed at 2 times the rate as everyone else. So is that something that you'd be able to help put into law, maybe possibly have government jobs? How would you think you can handle it?
Yeah, so I think leadership by example is the most important thing. Government can't solve all problems, but if a leader, that's a business leader, is our leader, to inspire other businesses to do what works, and this works for sure, right? I think it's the most important thing. Inspire others.
Would you give veterans priority in job placements within the government?
So what I would do is 100%. Hire from any veteran groups I can hire from in anything I do in my life from here on, right? So in government, of course, I'd love to look at veterans groups to hire from, just like anything else we do. I think also that if we think about a veteran in any leadership role today, right? Again, the biggest thing you lack in when you grow business or any type of opportunities in leadership is a leader that understands responsibility.
Right.
A leader understands processes. A leader that understands how to take credit for the bad stuff, the problems when they occur, and then push all the success off to your team.
Right.
And veterans, I'm telling you, have a knack for that like nobody else.
Well, they're taught that from day one in the military.
We see that.
They're really taught that from day one. Homelessness with the veterans. As governor, what would you do to help the homeless situation with our veterans?
Yeah, so my thing is job creation. Right now we're losing 50,000 jobs a year is what we saw. The numbers about 50,000 jobs from 2019 2020 isn't in yet, but we think it's probably that or more, right? Switching, when we can reverse that to gaining 50,000 jobs a year, that's abundance of jobs that we need all the help we can get filling those jobs. So I think it's reversing the bad policy that's cost our state for so many jobs that have left our state on a consistent basis because of high cost in doing business, high cost of workers' compensation, high cost of regulation and risk to start a business or grow a business in Illinois. So we change that, we change a lot of things, and from there on, the abundance of opportunity for veterans, will be there.
What do you think about the disabled veteran tax exempt status, which is currently not permanent? I mean, would you be able to? I know a lot of our veterans are receiving a certain percentage of their real estate taxes. If you're 50% disabled, you get a 50% tax break. 70%, you get a 70% tax break. Is there any other incentives that we could give our veterans to?
In my opinion, give businesses, small businesses, incentives when they surround themselves with veterans, when they hire veterans.
Right.
In my opinion, if you can reward those hiring for building their team with veterans or whatever the need is, and I think veterans is a big one, you're going to get more of it.
Right. What about the VA? We have some major issues going on at the VA. They're just totally understaffed. Appointment times are 2-3 months out from the time you call for an appointment. They're just totally understaffed. I mean, we need to fix that problem because unless these veterans are getting the help that they need, and the only place they really have a resource to get that help is through the VA, and if the VA is so backlogged, and again, their answer is just medication. Here, take this pills to stay awake. These to go to sleep. These will get you through the day. We really need someone to look at and reform the VA to help our veterans actually do something to help them.
So VA hospitals. I have friends of mine that use the VA that have had good luck and bad luck, right? Depending on where they're at in the state of Illinois. I've not studied that enough to give you an answer on what to do there, but that's have to be our first priority. We need to take care of those that have fought for our country.
Yeah, another issue that's kind of on the same line as that is transportation to and from the VA. Some of the veterans are disabled; they're not able to drive anymore. They rely on public transportation, which isn't always the most reliable thing. Is there something from your experience with businesses and infrastructure that you've set up that you think might be able to streamline that services a little bit for them? Now they finally can make it to their appointment, or they have an appointment, but now they can't make it there. Is there something that you can incentivize, for Uber, Lyft, cabs, however, to get them there a little bit easier?
So Kevin, I don't have an answer for you because I've not studied it.
Understandable. Yeah,
Again,
just curious on thoughts that you have about it.
I look at so many problems can be solved in the private sector. Growing government just gives government more control, right? I mean, when we can talk about these things in the private sector and communities, gosh, I think communities and private sector can help a lot of this and do a lot more than we think. Especially if we incentivize them, we give them some type of a branding when they're out for the best interest of those in need. They should get some type of branding that's bettered by the governor's office in the state of Illinois.
I got you. Okay.
One of the problems that we've had with our veterans, and they would call for an Uber or a Lyft, and Uber would come, they'd see the veteran with their service dog and just keep going or refuse to let the veteran in their car.
Wow.
So now you got a veteran who's waiting to get a ride to the VA. The guy pulls up, looks at him, sees the dog, and goes. I think we need to do something, make it a mandatory law that if you see a veteran or anyone with a service dog, doesn't have to be a veteran. Veterans are not the only ones that have service dogs, but if you see a service dog, it should be against the law that they could just bypass you because they don't want their dog in your car.
Wow, is there an indicator or anything, Mike, when it comes to if somebody's got a service dog, is there a collar, a tag on the collar, something that
There's
somebody
a vest that they
easily?
wear. They
Generally
wear a
it's-
vest and it says service dog.
Always.
Always. I mean, it's and here's the bad part. By law and by definition, a service dog has to perform a task for you. A comfort dog just lays on the couch with you, makes you feel good, and doesn't really do anything for you. But a service dog has a function, and they're protected by the ADA.
Sure.
Okay, and it's not being honored. And I think even when a veteran goes into a restaurant with his service dog, a lot of times he's denied access. So
Wow.
there really needs to be something about that to protect
Absolutely.
not only veterans with service dogs, but anyone with a disability that has a service dog. Would you
100%.
Would you be looking at something like
Come on,
that?
I mean, dogs are accepted almost everywhere.
Well,
that
you
I
have
go
a dog.
nowadays. We love dogs. I love dogs. Dogs are actually, my dog died. Okay,
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
my dog was served not intentionally as the service dog for my wife, who in
Right.
the last years of her life had brain cancer. And this dog, he was a Shepherdoodle. And he knew exactly when she was feeling good, and he knew exactly when she was not feeling good. It's
pretty amazing.
And
They're intuitive.
it was amazing. And my wife, we always had dogs, but she wasn't like the biggest dog lover in the family.
Right.
Boy, she became a dog lover.
That dog convinced her
That-
that she should be like
Well, that
that.
dog convinced her that dog. She knew that dog knew how she felt, which
Right.
she was amazed by.
Yeah, and similar situation as like what your wife went through. Some of our vets, they go through and they're like, I don't want a dog. Then they see it, they start to have it around. They realize, they have their companion there, and it's just suddenly these guys are the biggest softies ever when it comes to their dog. It's their little, their little buddy. So it's good.
What is your
Absolutely.
first concern if you're elected governor tomorrow morning? You wake up and you're the man. You are the governor of the state of Illinois. What's priority on your list to fix?
Well, right now, if things are as they are, public safety is number one. I mean, public safety is number one. I mean, I got in this thing because I understand job creation really well here and nationally. I understand taxation pretty well. It's something I've studied a lot, and I've got some great minds on my team for those purposes to bring.
Well, you're
Illinois.
a businessman. You understand that.
I understand economics through business, but I've grown to understand more about economics and government as well. And so those things I gravitate to. But then since I've decided that in this run, social issues and when I look at public safety, I mean, that's number one. If we don't solve that problem, our city and our state are going to be in a terrible place in the future.
What would you do to increase public safety?
Yeah. So just like anything I've done in my businesses, if we want to be world class, we find the best minds in the world, right? To be on our team, to be mentored by, to learn from, right? It's the same thing, in my opinion, in anything we do in life. And as this governor, in this governor's role, I've already hired the best economic mind that this country's seen in decades. Okay, he's on my team, and he's got a team of 5 people around him. We're going to do amazing things economically for the state with the team I'll build. Okay, when it comes to public safety, it's the same thing. Who are the best minds in the country's history that we can where we can shed their talent on Chicago and Illinois? They're out there. There's a handful of amazing minds out there that'll be here in a heartbeat to help us change our state around when it comes to public safety. And that's what I'm about. I'm a common sense guy. I didn't go to college, right? I started in business out of high school, and my success has been because I use common sense to understand what am I smart at, what am I very good at, and what does my intelligence bring me, and then where I lack, how do I find the best minds in the world to surround myself with? Best minds in the state of Illinois, the best minds in the country or the world. Who do I find that brings the expertise that I have and other things to the table when it comes to this stuff, public safety, when it comes to education, when it comes to taxation and job creation, I'm going to find some great experts. But I'm
So
pretty
you're
sure
going to surround yourself with the best.
So that's what we do. If you're going to be the best at anything, you find the best people. You win them over. You sell yourself for them to be on your team, and you make drastic changes where you have to.
What about the crime rate here?
I mean, the crime rate's it's crazy, right? I mean,
Nuts.
Our carjackings are through the roof.
I don't even want to go downtown.
So how do again? My thing is this: how do you sleep as a governor? And I guarantee you, I will not sleep. I don't sleep when major things happen in my life. I won't sleep when I know 108 people have been shot in a weekend in Chicago.
What are we, 430 now for the year?
430 deaths.
430 deaths
Yeah,
this year alone.
So again, how do you sleep at night when you know that's going on in your city and it's not getting any better? If it's getting better, if you know that you're progressing and some changes you made are showing data that says progress, okay, man, now maybe you're feeling pretty good, right? But until it gets down to the best, to be one of the best, most safest cities and states in the country, I won't rest.
So you wouldn't cut the police funding then?
Absolutely not. I mean,
Good for
we're
you.
losing great police every day
Yeah,
because
we
of what
are.
we're doing, and it
are.
saddens me. I've been all over the city and all over the state, and our police are decimated right now. The good ones want to know, are questioning how long they're going to be here.
Right.
The great ones are retiring. A lot of the great ones are moving out of state.
They're actually putting handcuffs on the
On the
police
police.
because they don't know what to do anymore. No matter what they do, it's wrong.
Yeah.
no matter what they do.
They
is wrong.
can't
It's
they can't
crazy.
can't go on a foot chase now, right? I mean, how crazy is that? Right? Oh, they turn around, they're running.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I gotta stop.
I mean, the referee. They might as well put stripes on. The referees out there now. It's sickening. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
it really is. I mean, the crime rate in Chicago has increased. I think they said 11% over last year. So I mean,
Well,
it's-
it was a huge number last year. So the only reason it didn't increase 100% because it increased drastically from the year before that.
crazy,
So
just crazy. Gary, tell us a little bit about what you'd like to see happen as governor.
well, I'd like to see, Mike, our state to be competitive in all major aspects of what it takes to have a good life in Illinois. Right, so when jobs are created, right, veterans and all of our Illinoisans, right, have more opportunities when jobs are being created in our state again. When 50,000 jobs are leaving, think about 50,000 families affected
Right.
with a job that's left or a job they lost because it went somewhere else. Yeah, that's drastic stuff for one family. Think about that times 50,000.
That's a lot.
That's sickening. Okay, so that needs to stop. And when that stops, when we're gaining 50 or 100,000 jobs a year, golly, you know what? This is a pretty cool place to be again.
It's working,
Okay,
yeah.
taxes. We're the highest in the country for all of our taxes combined.
So you lower them,
Actually, we'd go after property taxes hard and heavy because they're the highest in the country.
Right.
And property taxes, I say this because not only are property taxes temporarily costing you that annual tax, but as property taxes are the highest or one of the, let's say, second highest in the country that they are today, your property values are stunted. So when you pay higher taxes, you say, okay, that hurt for a little bit. No, it hurt a lot longer than that because
Right.
now your property values are stunted compared to the rest of the country. That's 1/3 of your taxes. Let's
Right.
say, and Indiana pays about 1% in property tax for the value of their home. So a $200,000 home would pay $2,000, right?
Right.
Here in Illinois, we're averaging close to 3% now. So let's say, just say $6,000 for that same $200,000 home.
Right.
That's crazy. Where I live, it's 4%. It's $8,000 for that same home.
Really?
Okay, for a $200,000 home. Okay. So again, when you think about this, that's not taxes anymore. That's tax theft. Okay. So that's got to change for us to feel good about being in Illinois. And then we think about, again, public safety, right? And we think about education without indoctrination. If we can change those two things on the back end, now you have culture and family that says, wow, you know what? We have safety. We can walk down the streets anytime we're
right
safe.
now they can't.
They can't now, right? And
No.
gosh, in our schools, we've got educations where they're not indoctrinating our kids anymore. That's a good thing too. Families will feel comfortable when you can do those things.
Right.
So I mean, I'm a very competitive guy, Mike, and
No,
Kevin.
I know you are.
And for me, I want to compete. I want to beat the pants out of our competition in Indiana, Iowa, Wisconsin, Missouri, and then go after the Floridas and Texas of the world, and Tennessees that are really kicking our butt.
Yeah.
The only saving grace we have there is they're further away, so it's
People are
tougher
going
to
to
get
go
there.
that far, right?
But
Yeah.
Indiana,
But Indiana's right over the border.
Indiana's
Believe me.
kicking our butt.
Yeah, they're leaving Illinois in droves.
So an element of a competitive mindset as a leader
Yeah.
means a lot. I don't care if you're a football team. I don't care if you're a paving company. I don't care what you do in your life. If your leadership is very competitive and thinks about every day how they're going to beat the competition, boy, you know what? You'll start changing things.
It's amazing. I like the way you think, Gary. I really do. Being a governor, that's a huge responsibility. What made you decide to do this?
What
Well,
makes somebody want to run for governor? I've
so-
always
Yeah, I
wondered.
mean, yeah, really. I mean,
Or
that's
even-
got to be. It's got to take a lot out of you as a person. It's got to be really exhausting to be out there. And what made you do this?
So I always like to work. I always like to stay busy. So this is a busy job. You're not sitting still very
Yeah.
often, right? But in my business life, it's been the same thing for my 40 years in my business. So that's not a new thing to me. Working is not a new thing. But here, when I see that my businesses and my accountants will tell me 8 of our 11 companies in Illinois should not be here anymore. We're losing money being
they
here.
said that.
We're losing money being here. Our risk is higher being here, right? And the state continues to throw more regulation on our business, saying, really, get out of here if you don't like it, but you're going to pay more if you want to be in Illinois. Now, when our businesses, those 8, compete across the country and against competition that are in states that are very favorable to business, right?
Right.
Our cost to compete is higher, right? And so our cost of overhead is higher. So our risk in staying in business or going out of business is higher also, right? So for us, it's a matter of competition in business to compete. If you're only working in your own town or city, let's say, and you all have the same cost, those 3 of my companies, that's kind of how it is, right?
Right.
Okay, but 8 of them, that's not how it is. They compete nationally or at least regionally, right, across the
Competition's a lot
Midwest.
stiffer.
So a competitor in Indiana who's paying 30-40% less tax in their business overall, right, and they have less regulatory environment, and their workers' compensation is half or a third of ours. Boy, you know what? That's a real challenge for us, right? So again, my thing is, I'm running because, in my opinion, businesses that are small businesses have a harder time in Illinois than ever before. All right, I'm running because my family, who I love so much, I want to stay in Illinois. My grandkids, I have 3. I want them to stay here in Illinois. And guess what? I can't look them in the eyes and say this is a place to stay, right? So that bothers me a lot, right? So when I think about what Illinois is, it's like a war on families, in my opinion. And I'm not going away.
Right.
I'm going to fight it. I want to stay here. This is my state. I don't want to be bullied out of my state. So I'm running because I want our state to be a place where all of us want to stay. We want to raise our kids, or raise our families. We want to raise our grandkids here in Illinois,
Right.
and not to say we should be somewhere else. Because when I'm saying when I'm seeing this, and I love the state, right? What are my friends saying that aren't so attached to the state?
Why are you here?
They're gone. My friends are gone.
All right.
My friends are gone. Most of my
Right.
friends are
Well,
gone that aren't
yeah.
attached like I am.
Yeah.
It's like most people are here now are saying, hey, I kind of got to be here. My grandkids, I got a few more years before they're off to college. Then I'm going to leave. Or,
Right.
you know what, I'm getting up there in age, and death tax is heavy here. So I don't want to get my family burdened with a heavy death tax. So I got to get out of here before I'm going to die anyway, right? I mean, that's a bad story, right? That's not why you want to stay here. Why
That's not a good ending.
So again, we're seeing too much of this, and it just saddens me. So
Right.
I'm running because I'm running. Okay, and I've never aspired to be a governor. I've always loved being an entrepreneur. Loved building businesses, right? But for me, to grow my business nationally, I got to know the RGA, the Republican Governors Association, because I wanted to know the best states in the country to grow my businesses. And so as I got to know the RGA and got on the executive council to interact with what they're doing in their states, I got to know all the good things they're doing to bring people like me to their
Right.
state, or helping their small businesses in their state grow. Okay, so I was like, wow, these governors, they're just common sense people. They're common sense people that can't be bought by special interest. Those are the type of people I want to lead my
You
state.
have the experience of running multiple businesses, so I wouldn't assume that the government is anything less than it's another business.
It's another business. It's a big business, right?
Right.
And the budget is crazy high, and there's a lot of, politics are a lot different, and because we don't allow politics in our businesses like we do in our government, right? If somebody's protecting their job in my company and they don't hire somebody because that somebody might be smarter than them,
Yeah.
that person probably won't be there very long. We need people that want to hire people
hire the
smarter than
best.
themselves,
Exactly.
right? They're not intimidated by other people that want to lead, because that's the only way we grow, is grooming leaders, right? The only way we grow is hiring smarter people than we are. And so in politics, sometimes that doesn't work out so well. I mean, from what I've seen.
Right.
But it'll change with me as the governor.
As far as these mandates, the vaccinations and the masks and closing us down, where do you stand on that? Let everybody know where you stand on that.
So here, as government grows and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, our freedoms get to be less and less and less and less, right? As government has more control on taxation and they tax more and more, we have less freedom. As they pile on regulation, businesses and all of us have less freedom. As we think we can mandate everything we do individually in our lives, again, we have less freedom. That's a bad thing, okay?
Right.
So I believe that we need to educate. The government needs to educate, to be great at educating the public on what's right or wrong health-wise and what we should be thinking about, right? Advise us on the risk ahead on anything, right? Including a sickness like COVID. But for a government to mandate a kid to get a vaccine, or even bully a kid into getting a vaccine that has never been tested on kids, okay? That's a experimental, or you can call it emergency vaccine today, right? And this thing might be great. I mean, many of my family members have got it. My father, my sisters. I mean, many of my families have got it, right? And they've had good luck with it so far, right? But again, even if we say that it's 99.9% great right now, we don't know. Most vaccines take 10 or 15 years before they're really approved by the FDA. So we don't really know what's going to happen 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, right? 10 to 15 years is kind of the average.
Right.
Many FDA vaccines take 25 years
Right.
to get approved, right? So again, because that length of time means a lot in this experiment, right? On whether it's great or not. So again, I believe that for families to say my kids are going to get it, God bless them. That's up to them, right?
Freedom of choice.
Freedom of them to choose this, right?
Right.
But for us as a government or schools or businesses to say everyone under my control must get it is wrong, in my opinion. We don't, because we just don't know where it's going to go. It's not even if it was FDA approved, in my opinion, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, but
It's your body. You
I don't
should
feel like
still-
my business should be telling my 30-year teammate who's lived and breathed our business for 30 years and loves it, and they have an immune disease or whatever, and they just can't take this vaccine, whatever vaccine it is.
Right.
Darn it, I'm never going to tell them they have to take it, ever. And if I
Yeah,
do, I
don't
think
know.
I'm wrong.
I don't know how the government can mandate anybody to do something with their own body. You know, that should be up to me, my choice to either take the vaccine or not. And if I choose to go out in public unvaccinated and I risk the chance of getting the COVID, that's on me. You know, totally on me. I shouldn't be told that I need to do this, I need to do that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
We live in a free country. We need to keep it free.
Yeah. Gary, we got just a 5-minute warning, 3-minute warning over here. You know, I think you're an amazing man. I think you're a smart man. I think you've got a lot to offer our state, and I wish you all the success in the world. You got some great ideas, and I just would really like to see you in office. I think it'd be great.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you for being
Thank you so
here.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for your
Kevin,
time.
thank you so
Appreciate
much,
it.
Kev. And thank you for all you guys do. You guys are an awesome nonprofit, and
Thank you.
we want to help you there too.
Well, we appreciate it. Good night, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you.